Hey, it's Chris Cashman at the Museum of History and Industry, where an impressive line is forming for their latest exhibit. Documents, yes, seemingly ordinary paper, but these documents forged a nation. Documents so impressive we can't even shine our light on them. It's a different temperature in there. We'll get into it tonight on Evening.
The best tattoo artists in the country are coming to Seattle. Find out why. Saint talks to Matthew McConaughey about bluegrass, honey, and his latest movie. And an old school way to fish for salmon that was born right here in the Pacific Northwest.
And welcome to Evening Magazine, and welcome to the unmistakable MOHI, the Museum of History and Industry. And there is a reason all of those fine folks are lined up. They're waiting to see documents, not just any documents, kids, the documents that forged a nation, the last stop on the National Freedom Plane Tour.
Yeah, this is extraordinary. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to see the documents that shaped our country from the very beginning. So we're talking about the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. These are the documents that actually create our form of government, empower us as citizens to change our government, and to really give life to the ideals that we all hold sacred.
John, do you see that? Thomas Jefferson.
So this is a national tour. We're the last stop, and people are showing up.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. Thousands of people every day are coming, and we are delighted with that. But I think what it says is that as Americans, we believe these documents are treasures. They're priceless parts of our heritage. And it's our responsibility to understand them and to take responsibility for fulfilling the ideals that they establish.
This is so cool to see real copies of the Constitution and Declaration, the draft of the Constitution.
Yeah, these are rare documents that have withstood 250 years, and we want them to live forever. So after they leave Seattle, they'll go back to the National Archives and into a vault for at least 10 years in order to continue to preserve them for future generations.
Hancock.
The exhibit runs through August 16th, but while they're here, they're free. That's thanks to Amazon, and the entire museum is free through August 16th.
Very cool, and arguably the first time in my life where I have been starstruck by documents. But there's just something about seeing George Washington's signature. Come check it out before the Freedom Plane Tour departs August 16th. Also competing for your attention, the largest tattoo event in the Pacific Northwest, and they are celebrating 25 years. Here's Jose.
Seattle is one of those cities that celebrates every art form. And tattooing is one of them.
I'm in Capitol Hill neighborhood to learn more about Seattle Tattoo Expo. I'm getting a little nervous. Where are we today?
We're at Super Genius Tattoo. Super Genius Tattoo has been open in Seattle and Capitol Hill for 23 years. Kind of a staple in the tattoo industry here in Seattle.
Would you say that Seattle has their own style when it comes to tattoo?
Definitely with some of the old school people, you can tell their work. You know who's tattooing when you look at the tattoos.
Let's talk about the expo.
Damon Conklin, the owner of the shop, started the expo with Gloria 25 years ago. It's a great weekend. I get to see all kinds of friends. Tons of people come up from out of state. We have some burlesque shows, DJs,
and much more. The tattoo contests are a crowd pleaser.
Worst tattoo, best tattoo of the weekend.
An expo with something for every tattoo lover. And that's giving me an idea.
What's the plan for today? What's the mission?
I'm just gonna give you a tattoo. Hopefully you like it.
Okay, here's the deal. I'm getting a tattoo by Corey, but I honestly have zero idea of what I'm getting.
At least I know what colors he's using, black and red. You ready to put the stencil on?
All right, I'm gonna have you roll just slightly towards me, right there, all right.
It's go time. Let's do it.
I don't know what I'm getting. I always come up with dumb ideas.
Well, I mean, I'm being nice to you, so it's not too bad. We gotta keep it a little PG.
Yeah.
Not going to lie, I was extremely curious to see what I was getting in my leg.
All right, jump up, take a look at it.
I think he's done. Can you talk a little bit about the design that you came up for today?
When I think traditional tattoos, I think traditional eagles first. And I just threw the flower on there because I like flowers.
A brand new tattoo with a fun story to tell. Thank you, Corey.
Way to go, Jose. Loving your new ink. The Seattle Tattoo Expo runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and tickets are still available. You know the name Kyle MacLachlan, an actor, you know, from Twin Peaks, or maybe as the mayor from Portlandia. Very talented guy, but maybe you didn't know he's a Washington winemaker. And we thought, what are some of the best pairings with some of his most iconic TV and movie roles? We sent St. Brian to get his recommendations.
Well, I'm wondering what would pair well with an atmospheric mystery like Blue Velvet.
Ooh, atmospheric mystery, Blue Velvet.
We've met up with actor Kyle MacLachlan at Esquin Wine and Spirits, Washington's oldest wine shop. Our mission, to find some damn fine bottles of wine.
Let's see, Washington Reds here.
I should have known Kyle would be up for a game of pairing wines with his best-known roles.
And let's just pick, oh my God, let's see here.
Born in Yakima, he's the founder of the critically acclaimed winery, Pursued by Bear.
For me, getting into wine was a number of different things. One is, obviously, I love wine. I've loved wine since I was in high school. Don't let anyone know that.
Back to our Blue Velvet mystery. Kyle has selected a Syrah from Horsepower Vineyards in Walla Walla.
There's some flavors and profile things that are very interesting.
Very interesting would be an understated way to describe Kyle's roles, directed by David Lynch, who first hired him for Dune, with a congratulatory bottle of Lynch Bage sent to his hotel room.
He told me later, he said that was his way of saying, you know, you're my guy for this role.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you know. And from then on, we traded Lynch Bage back and forth for many, many years.
For Lynch's Twin Peaks, which delighted fans by returning as a limited series in 2014, we asked for something with a lengthy finish.
Here's a beautiful Walter Scott Pinot Noir, wonderful aromatics, a little bit lighter. Something like this would go well with cherry pie.
This must be where pies go when they die. Tell me something.
1995 Showgirls wasn't a critical or box office favorite in its day, but it has since become a cult classic.
People are coming around to this movie.
Much to my chagrin.
To pair with an evening of Showgirls, Kyle is looking for something that sparkles.
Kind of learned about this. This is an English sparkling wine, Digby. I was just in London, in fact, and they are making some really nice sparkling wines.
And finally, to pair with Prime Video's Fallout, where the survivors of a nuclear blast live underground, a fine wine for long, cozy nights indoors.
Why don't we try the Ornellaia? This is something that you could savor for a long night, would really be enjoyable. And it would remind you of a beautiful place that no longer exists.
Our thanks to Kyle MacLachlan, actor, winemaker, and the most entertaining sommelier we've ever met.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, MacLachlan has actually been the honorary chairman of the Auction of Washington Wines. I got to host that event with him this year. The great Drew Bledsoe will be heading it up. Ultimately, it is a fundraiser supporting Seattle Children's, WSU's winemaker program, and some other charities. They've raised over $72 million. Way to go. Still to come on Evening Magazine.
Saint talks to Matthew McConaughey about bluegrass, bees, and why critics love his new movie. And go salmon fishing old school style with Jose. Evening Magazine is made possible with support from Kitsap Credit Union. Since 1934, Kitsap Credit Union has believed that together it's possible. Together, we shine a light on the people and places that help our communities thrive.
Welcome back to Evening Magazine from the Museum of History and Industry, where the National Freedom Plane Tour has landed. These people are all queued up to see the documents that forged a nation. The Declaration of Independence, it's over there, but hurry. It leaves on that plane on August 16th. Speaking of the genuine article, Matthew McConaughey is back on the big screen. All right. I won't say the third one because I'm told he's trademarked that, and he should. This is a heartfelt movie about honey, bluegrass, and second chances. Saint talked to the stars.
There are some moments you can only capture in one take.
It's the queen.
This is one of them.
You can pull a queen from the hive. you can take it away and the swarm will come to protect her.
It's the golden hour on Matthew McConaughey's last day of the shoot.
Do the lines many times. As with a few bees on, let's do them when there's a half the bees on. Let's do them when there's 100, there's 1,000. It's getting heavy. My arm's getting tired.
His co-star Angelina Lookingglass has weeks of shooting still to go.
Meaning that if she gets stung, we're in trouble. And I walk over to her and I said, I want to put you in the scene and I want you to tell me no. And she goes, I'm gonna do it. I said, no, I want you to tell me no.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm gonna do it.
Just one of many scrappy moments in The Rivals of Amziah King, which explores the dark side of the honey business, where beekeepers steal from each other and even commit murder. Matthew had taken a hiatus from movie acting for nearly 5 years when he read the script.
What is it about this role that you just could not shake?
The language. Language is poetic. The humor, the anarchic humor, the lack of sentiment with dealing with crisis and even tragedy, and the way that you deal with humor to survive it. You don't feel any less pain, but you dance through it. You play music through it as a means of survival.
Angelina, this was your first major movie role. How did Matthew make you feel comfortable? I kind of imagine it's like that scene where he's got you singing.
From day one when I met him, it was always like that. You know, he's such a fatherly figure to me, just like a mentor, I guess.
This little independent movie takes some unexpected turns, the kind major studios might have vetoed. But that's exactly what makes The Rivals of Amziah King such a thrilling ride.
Everybody's a legend in their own right. Everybody can sing. All you got to do is try it. It's not about right or wrong, and if it ain't true, it ought to be.
Get ready, my little chickadee. Bees only swarm when they are ready for a fight.
Thank you, Saint. The movie opens this Friday. It is rated R. Saint says it is a wild ride and just as entertaining as any of the other billion-dollar summer blockbusters. Maybe you didn't know we're in the middle of salmon season. If you want to catch a salmon the Seattle way, you've got to try mooching. What is mooching? We sent Jose out to sea to find out.
It was an early crew call at the marina for what I was expecting to be a hands-on fishing experience with Captain Keith.
Typically this time of year we do 6-hour trips.
So what's the plan?
The plan is we're going north. We start at 6 in the morning, come back about noon. Getting paid to go out in the water it's almost like stealing. I get to share my favorite place in the world.
It took about 30 minutes of this scenic ride to make our first stop. Looks like we're in a good spot. Now it's time to get the fish.
The general rules are 2 salmon per person, hatchery only. Gonna mooch. By law, it's all barbless hooks. The most simple description of mooching is dropping to the bottom or very close to the bottom and then reeling it back up. This is the Puget Sound style of mooching. Very small percentage of the fishing population still fish this way. Mooching was started in around the 20s and 30s in Elliott Bay. Started by the Japanese. There we go. You know, it requires a little finesse. The more you do it, the better you get at it. For me personally, it's all about the bite, kind of where the adrenaline happens.
All right, it's my turn to try to catch a fish. Let's see how that goes.
Pretty much the only places in the world they fish this way are Puget Sound and Sitka, Alaska. Very active, super fun way to fish. You're constantly in contact with your rod and reel.
It didn't take too long for a fish to give me a fight. Turns out, this is a king salmon.
You did an unbelievable job with it. It's like you've done it 100 times before.
The bad news is that I don't get to keep this one.
Sometimes with the regulations, you can't keep them. Today we were busy. You can't ask for anything more than that.
There we go.
For me, it's always about the catching and not the killing. The good thing is if you catch one mooching, you caught it. You held the rod, you hooked the fish, you reeled it in, you caught the fish. I thought today was awesome.
Thank you, Jose, and thanks to the fine folks at Spot Tail Guide. You know, there are specific places and seasons where you can fish for the wild salmon, so that's why Jose did the right thing and sent his right back. Still to come on Evening Magazine.
Celebrate National Vinyl Record Day at this woman-owned shop in Edmonds.
Got it, need it, want it. Hey, welcome back to Evening Magazine. We're at the gift shop at Mohi, the Museum of History and Industry. If you know, you know. Also home to the National Freedom Plane Tour for a limited time. It's not marketing. You want to see the documents that forged a nation? They're upstairs right now, but only through August 16th. You want to see the Declaration? This is the time to do it. In the meantime, we're going to take you to a very cool record store and boutique in the heart of Edmonds. They specialize on specifically Northwest artists, and they're very cool people. Here's Jose.
We are at Musicology Co. This is my record store / music boutique, a little smattering of everything. I've always been a huge collector of music.
Tell me what makes this place unique.
We're one of the few women-owned record stores in Washington State. The idea of bringing people together at a place where they can come in and physically touch the music and listen to it, it made sense to bring that together here. We have our Northwest section, getting into some older stuff like the Sonics. This remaster of Prince just came out. Our friend Levi at Black Belt Mastering did the master cuts on this. I've been embracing the cassette comeback. These are some that I really like. Our Nirvana In Utero original cassette. This is how I'm showing my age again. CDs have been a huge one too for us.
You can also find art here connected to music.
Then we have our Karen Mason Blair section here.
And if you're looking for the perfect gift, they got you.
We've got lots of fun like music lyrics on candles.
If you visit this store, take your time and look around, because you might find something.
Guitar pick M. There are way too many guitar picks on that.
Musicology Co. is more than a record store. It's a space for artists and music lovers to create.
We have a tiny stage. We have fit entire bands here, but it spreads.
Big house, nice car.
We have a monthly open mic for songwriters. We have a monthly jam session, which is really fun. We just started an intro to turntablism. Several of us do vinyl DJing. Many local artists do album release parties here. This was my focus, was to highlight all of our locals, musicians that come by, and then I love to embarrass them and make them sign their picture when they come in.
But let's just say that Rachel was not always into local music.
I know you're a little embarrassed about it, but what was your first concert?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my first concert was MC Hammer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's...
Moving on.
It's really wonderful watching people come in and explore music and find it, get a hold of it.
Thank you, Jose. Musicology opens every day at noon. I like those hours. They're also going to be having an open mic November 19th. Consider being a part of it. All right, shifting gears now to something more serious, certainly thinking about all of our friends and all of those in the Spokane area impacted by the wildfires. Safety remains important as families begin assessing the damage, but it's important, wait until local officials say it's safe to return, and once home, use caution around ash and damaged electrical lines. Avoid direct contact with ash and water, wear protective clothing, gloves, eye protection, and an N95 mask. Now, the American Red Cross is continuing to be on the ground there, providing emergency shelter, meals relief, supplies, and other critical support for families impacted by the fires. If you want to help make a financial donation to the Red Cross, you can do that through August 14th, and PEMCO will match up to $50,000 in donations made to the Red Cross. Just use this QR code. Every contribution helps provide immediate assistance now and supports families as they begin the long road to recovery.
When evening returns, the new sculptures at the Seattle waterfront that are turning heads. Now in our 40th season, Evening Magazine shares local stories that make our community shine. Evening Magazine is sponsored by PEMCO Insurance. PEMCO empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at PEMCO.com.
Welcome back to Evening Magazine from Mohi, the Museum of History and Industry, temporary home to the National Freedom Plane Tour. The documents that forged a nation are on display. That's why they are all queued up. Join them in line if you want to see the Declaration of Independence and more documents. It is incredible. All right, now to another popular, well-known Seattle spot that's turning heads. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it the perfect evening. I'll be taking attendance on the next show.